I've come close at Martinsville quite a few times, and even before I made it to the Cup Series, I raced there in the late model series and came really close to winning. I've won a couple poles at that racetrack, but never was able to break through and get a win. So it definitely made me appreciate it when I finally did get to victory lane at Martinsville, and obviously it meant a lot, being it's a racetrack I have so much experience on. It's one of the most difficult racetracks to perfect, and I don't know if anyone's really perfected it, but it's just a tight racetrack. Even though everyone runs relatively the same line, there's a lot of different ways to do it, and some people brake harder, some people don't use as much brake getting in the corner, and there's just a lot of different ways to get around that racetrack, and there's only quite a few things you can do to really pick up speed there. It's been a track where we're the only ones that have been able to beat Jimmy over the last 7 races at that racetrack. So we do have a lot of confidence when we go there, and it just seems like we just keep getting our cars better and better every time we go. For me, it's been big. I mean, whether it goes back to last year where I made a dive bomb move on the inside of the 48 on a restart, luckily I had the brakes to do that, that's for sure. And it seems like ever since we came out with this package and innovated it with the Raybestos folks, it seems like it's just gotten that much better. The durability is better, which has enabled me to use them more earlier in the race. I don't have to save as much at the beginning, which helps us keep our track position, which helps us be in position at the end of the race to win. Well, for me, it's my spotter has, I think, 3 or 4 grandfather clocks of his own. He's won quite a few late model races up at that racetrack, and for me, the trophy's the same no matter what level you win on. It's always been that clock, and I've always gotten a bunch of flack from those guys on the team saying, well, your spotter has grandfather clocks, where is yours at? And they knew I've been close, and they knew it was something that I really wanted, and it's great for us to finally accomplish it. A lot of guys have overheat their brakes in traffic. They have to push their car harder to try to make passes. Martinsville's a track where it's so hard to pass that you've got to use a lot of brake to try to outbrake guys getting in the corner. And for us, it seems like no matter whether I'm in traffic or clean air, it always seems to, the pedal's always the same. We always have the same stopping power, and the more consistent you can make that car, whether it's in traffic or out, the better off you're going to be. We can kind of come up with our own brake package, but it's not going to be near as good as what the people at Raybestos have come up with. They've been doing this for a long time, and obviously with the technology that they bring and the history that they bring, over to Gibbs Racing and the guys that we have that have been working on brake packages for so many years, it seems like the two have just come up with a great package. Once you get past the start-finish line, it's probably maybe 50 to 100 feet after that. You got to start thinking about letting off and using the brake. But one thing I've really used to my advantage over the last few years and finding speed was making sure I kind of release that brake in the middle of the corner to make sure I get to the throttle just as soon as I can off of turn 2. Turn 3 actually seems like a little bit sharper corner than what turns 1 and 2 is, so I usually arc out a little bit more into turn 3 to make sure I get a good run off of turn 4. But once again, the same thing goes on in the middle of 3 and 4 that you do in 1 and 2. Is get off the brake as soon as you can and use as much gas as quick as you can to get that good run to the start-finish line. Tuning a brake package at Martinsville is really about driver preference, and for myself, I like a much harder pad to where you have to press down the pedal quite a bit just to get quite a bit of stopping power. Another reason I like that is once I release, I always seem to have a little bit of foot pressure on the brake at all times, so I need something that disengages pretty quick. So one of the keys to Martinsville, like I said earlier, was being able to roll that speed in the center, and that means having your foot off that brake. But for me, the harder the pad, the better, because it seems like it just lasts a little bit longer.
Well, it's basically 2 drag strips with a corner at the end. An overhead view, it looks like a paper clip, and you reach such high speeds coming into the corner, and then it's such a tight turn. It frustrates a lot of drivers, and it takes a while to figure it out. You know, the most common thing is to overdrive it, and if you do that, you're going to heat everything up, and you're not going to last 500 laps. So if you think about it, that's 2 stops per lap, so that's 1,000 times that you have to make that corner, and it's a long race that tests the drivers and the cars. What Raybestos has done is they've brought us a caliper that has more torque and more pad available than anything else out there on the market right now. And every little bit at Martinsville counts. You know, we've got more pad material, so we can tell our drivers, hey, you know, you've got a lot. You don't have to worry about it so much that you're going to run out of pad before this race is over, because there's more available to you than we've had in the past. When you come to Martinsville, you want to have the most aggressive pad that you can have to outbrake people going into the corner, and to do that, you know, you have to have an aggressive material that's going to wear more. That's where we think we have an advantage with the Raybestos package, having more pad material available to us.